Oh, what's going on, everybody? My name is Crypto Corey. I want to thank you for joining me. And today we're in the Redneck office. So one thing I'm gonna do real quick is I'm just gonna show you around my Redneck office, and we'll have a discussion about some VV stuff, and about this 1 year. I started VV in the beginning of August. I was looking into VV before that, but I didn't buy my first collectible until the very beginning of August. So this is basically a 1 year mark on VV. So, we'll just kind of talk about my experiences and what I've learned and what I think is going to happen. But first, switch around, and this is not going to be something glamorous. What we did is, as you can tell, it doesn't look much like an office, but this is a trailer. Of all things, we bought a piece of property, a really desirable piece of property. Here's one of our offices, and here's a nice big office for the president right here. And we sat there and we looked at different properties and metal buildings and stuff, and this is what we call our break room. More or less is our kitchen. Serves everything that we need. And I know it's kind of hard to tell out there, but we've got a out there, that building in the center, that is our construction office. And you can see over to the side, that's our storage barn. So that's a private storage right there. But we've even got a big field of land out there. We've got almost 5 acres total of land, and that's private office. And then this will be my personal office here. So I've got my printer set up. Here's my other printer set up. It's a little unorganized today, but as you can see, I'm rocking a decently cooled computer. I'm rocking 3 full screens. These are TVs. So when I'm out here doing all my stuff, this is what I'm looking at. This is where I do most of my work. This is where I see most of my drops for VV. Kind of just leads me to kind of talk about like this first year into VV. I started off by buying in the marketplace. I spent about $175 on a DeLorean, and he's gone back down a good bit from the all-time highs that I remember seeing him at. But it started with that, and then I started doing drops, and then I missed the Spider-Man drop, so I was not able to get him. And I looked at the marketplace, and I saw him for like $1,000, $2,000, and I was like, it's just too much for me. It's too expensive. And then lo and behold, he pumped all the way to $100,000. If you're kind of wondering how the first year went into VV, it was met with a lot of, you have to forgive me for how I say this, but it kind of like empty promises, broken promises. Now they've made good on their promises now. So I don't want to sit there and be like fudding the project or something, but there was a very large amount of time where they were telling you that certain things were going to happen, and then they even gave timelines, and they just kept passing by. Now, if you've watched the AMA, they kind of describe why some of these decisions happen and what happens for things like this to happen. But I'm not too upset about it. But it was the reality. Next, it started becoming really difficult to get drops. And, actually that'll lead me into a small thing. So I started trying to figure out how can I get a faster internet connection in order to win some of these drops. Back in my office, what I did is right here, this is a Ethernet adapter. And it goes over to, I noticed a lot of wires, but there's my router back there, my wireless internet. We've got another router in the office, and it connects to my phone via this USB-C right here. So I use this. This is what I use for drops. I sit here and I'll put on, some stuff to watch on the TVs, and then, I started noticing what I would have to do is I would have to turn off other devices, reset my internet, make sure I had an Ethernet adapter, make sure just everything was set with the phone. I did developer mode stuff in order to make like button acquisition quicker, just in case like you're trying to scroll. It'll slow down your scrolling in order for an animation to happen, and you just get rid of that animation. But it was really difficult to get drops late 2021. I was still getting about 50% of the drops, but it wasn't easy to get the things you wanted. Plus, I was getting a lot of commons, a lot of uncommons. I got a couple of rares, and I got one ultra rare. I was really excited to get an ultra rare, and he just didn't perform very well. The market tanked in January, and I saw my portfolio go from, at that time, I had invested at about $3,000, and then my portfolio had plummeted. I mean, it went up to the peak. So sometime around December, January, I was sitting around $20,000 to $25,000 worth of a portfolio, and then it dropped literally. I think the other day, I think it dropped down to like 4,500 or something like that, which is, it's daunting to watch 25 grand turn into 4,500. Now, I never went out of profit. Now, if I were to, let's say, sell all of my collectibles, cash out, I would have probably broken even after all the fees and stuff, but then taxes would have come in, but I probably would have claimed losses at that point. But now the bottom has kind of happened and stuff, and I landed my first secret rare comic book, and it just so happened to be Amazing Fantasy 15. So I mean, like, I guess that whole year worth of no luck, turned into one really good piece of luck. Now, I have landed some secret rares on drops that are collectibles, the snow globes, and then I've done the golden moments. The golden moments have actually yielded me a little bit of profit, and I flipped one and bought a Steamboat Willie, which ended up tanking afterwards. But I still have 4 golden moments. And I got some Star Wars golden moments. That's the thing, is when you have a Star Wars golden moment, like, I don't have Vader, but I was fly fishing whenever Vader came out, and again, it was like $1,000. Didn't want to buy him. Like, now he's somewhere shy of 1,700, something like that. But if I were to give you some advice, if you're kind of like, all right, I'm getting into Veve, I want to know what's to be expected. Well, here's what I would probably tell you. First of all, we're in a bear market. So if you're getting into Veve, let's say it's your first week or first month into Veve, I would say you just need to chill out for about the next 6 months. Now, I'm honestly more or less thinking it's about 3 months to the bottom of the full crypto market. Just a quick dead cat bounce that we're getting right now might pump some stuff, and they'll dump real quick. But then after that, we'll have our I guess, accumulation phase that lasts a little over a year. At that time, crypto might be trading a little bit more on the sideways, but I do think that if, they start advertising, getting influencers, not so much like commercials, but obviously if they get influencers, imagine someone like Jake Paul. They paid Jake Paul to start shilling Veve. Kids are going to be in it real quick. But, if they start getting some high-profile influencers and stuff into the space after the app is finished, then I can guarantee your collectibles will go up. Doesn't necessarily mean like your secret rare Spider-Man or your Amazing Fantasy 15 or anything like that's going to just spike. But I do think that your commons, your uncommons, some small cheap sets, things like that, you will see go up in the market. So the market as a whole is going to go up. But a lot of these blue chips, they could 4x, they could 5x, but if you're like me, you watched C3PO go from around $5,000 to, I mean, is he 500 right now, something like that? So I mean, that's a 10x that he would have to have in order to reach that again. So you might see that recover, but for you to think that in that same amount of time that some of these secret rares are going to 10x also, maybe more like a 5x, something 4x, 5x, something like that, just because it's more money, it's a more expensive collectible. But I do still think I'm bullish on, high profile collectibles and grail collectibles. But just be patient. Buy what you like. Also, maybe buy 2. Don't just go buy 1, buy 2 of them. That way you got 1 to hold, just in case you become emotionally attached to it. And then you've got 1 that you can just flip, and when you're going to make your money back. I mean, that's like your goal. You get 2, you sell 1 that was double your money, and essentially you just pay for both, and now you have a free collectible. So that's kind of, there's other methods and stuff people do, but that's just one that I've used in the past that have actually worked out pretty well for me. Flippers. Flipping is probably coming back. You'll be able to flip what you get. People will be buying them in the market afterwards, as long as you know how to get the FOMO hype. Then I do think you'll do okay flipping. Just make sure you look at edition sizes and if something's an FA or not, and just make sure that this is something people want. I did not go for the group drops today and stuff and yesterday, but it looks like they're sitting around their drop price at least. So that's a positive sign to me. All this kind of happening after AF15, so I'm really looking forward to the future. Like I was saying before, I was getting majority of my drops, and then the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, it all of a sudden dropped down. Like you couldn't get anything because of the bots and stuff, and then they canceled all the bots. Then things were just, the prices just plummeted after that. Once they started purging the bots, getting rid of third parties sales transfers, things like that, started requiring KYC. These things were just all the steps tanking the market. And now I do think that we've either bottomed or are close to bottoming with Veve. We could have a double bottom where we just bottomed like last week or something before AF15, and then we'll have this general market, dead cat bounce, and then maybe Bitcoin will hit that 13K, that 10K, something like that. And I'm not necessarily thinking that Veve collectibles are going to drop down lower than they were last week. They might go up, they might go back down and hit that same bottom and begin to climb or to just level out after that. The adoption is going to come with advertisement and awareness, and as much as us, millennials, and I guess there's some Gen Zers, and maybe a boomer or two, but we're kind of in the realm where we understand a lot of the nostalgia behind these things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that these Gen Zers and the Alpha generation and stuff. So my son, he's part of the Alpha generation. He's 2 right now, and he's already got NFTs. He's got a bat cow. He's got a lightsaber. I got lightsabers for the kids. So, I might, and there's a Hello Kitty drop coming up soon. I might get one of those and hold on to those if I have a girl. I'm planning on having more than, a couple kids. So, we'll see where a lot of this goes. But if you were to ask me, so with NFTs in a general sense, what's the future of NFTs? Well, I think the metaverse and stuff is going to be there. We're looking at 5-10 years. Collectibles are going to do well. Art's going to tank. It's going to tank hard. Collectibles, I think, will do well, but that's just because there's IP, there's licensing. Pokemon cards are valuable, but Beanie Babies were not. Beanie Babies were just their own thing. Pokemon had a game, had a show, it had, tons of its own separate merchandise. It also, they had a movie, it just created this whole genre where Beanie Babies obviously did not. Now, with Veve, there are some things that probably will create their own genre and stuff, because as we're kind of seeing now with the discussion with CryptoPunks and Bored Apes and stuff, so they're allowing people to own the licenses for those. I'm not saying we'll get them for Disney, but they'll start making shows and stuff, and if your collectibles featured, maybe you're the one who gets the rewards for that, for renting fees, or whatever. So we don't really know exactly what the future is going to hold, but there's a lot of really positive stuff. So while I don't want to speculate on what is definitely going to happen in the next 5-10 years, what I can tell you is I've been collecting for so long. I've been collecting for years and years and years, and I've learned to hold on to what you collect for long term, as long as it's got good IP and stuff like that. Like the Beanie Babies obviously didn't work. A tulip bulb is not going to work, But your Pokemon cards, your comic books, your Funko Pops, your NFTs, your Disney pens. These are the things that I grew up with. I even collect Irish crystal. I have about 100 pieces of pure Irish crystal that some of them are literally like 60, 70 years old. So I'm a collector at heart. I've collected all kinds of things, and I've never seen anything quite like NFTs. It's something you can bring with you. It's in your pocket. It's you don't have to go on eBay and look up prices and try to figure out what the accurate price is, and look at your collectible or your card or whatever and see what condition it's in and be able to like sit there and do really good photos of it. Like, none of that's needed anymore. This is just so much more streamlined. We get to enjoy these collectibles. We get showrooms. The first iteration of Veveverse, from what I'm thinking, from the way they're describing it, obviously a long ways off, it seems more like it's going to start out as social. You've got your vault and stuff, and I guess you're in a room or a tower or a building or a city, and other people can go into the vault, your vault, and check out your vault, and you can do all sorts of cool stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to interact with each other in the same way. And then later on, you know, developments and stuff will happen, and maybe people will make games and they want to use hoverboards, so they get Back to the Future to allow the hoverboards to be in there, and that might be the premium hoverboards that have special abilities. And then you can go into the game and get like a really cheap NFT, like a $5 NFT that, you know, they minted like a couple 100,000 of them or something, and you could still play the game for cheap, or you could be rocking a really cool rare board that either gives you some cool skins, some cool features, some cool whatever, maybe not necessarily unfair advantages, because then, you know, you'd have gamers who are wealthy outperforming poor gamers. But I do think that there's going to be some style, there's going to be accessories, there could be some stuff needed in order to play a game. But, you know, I think all of this is on its way. But is it needed? It's not. It's just not. I think because of Pokemon and pins and the comic book trade that I've done, I sold a Funko Pop, a regular Chase Funko that was autographed. And it was authenticated in an autograph. But I sold one of those the other day for $200. You know, these things are only like $50, $60 whenever they come out, whenever they're that high profile. Most of them like $5, $6. But, you know, collectibles don't necessarily need a large amount of utility or a bunch of robust utility in order to be valuable. You know, your art on your wall, some ultra rich guy will spend $100,000 in order to stick a piece of art in his house that maybe only 10 people ever seen its entire life. You know, if a man is willing to brag to 10 people, or to, you know, 50 people, even if he has a party, you know, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to brag a lot more with these things because they're in your pocket. They're going to be, when you put your AR glasses on in the future, you'll be able to display them. You'll be able to, you know, it's just, there is more utility out of NFTs than there is in regular wall art. And if you feel like you really just want wall art, you can get a digital picture frame like I plan on doing and just sticking on the wall, running a rotation of all of your NFTs. That way you can put them on physical display. But, you know, you don't need utility. You just don't. It's not needed. But with that said, it's just, that's a closed system, collectible driven, not utility driven idea. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people FUD because of the lack of utility. But at the same time, I'm also involved in utility-driven projects. So it's just oranges and apples, you know, it's just different things. They do different things. There's opportunity for both. Only time will actually tell. But I think, you know, if you're involved in IP like Disney and Marvel and DC, I think you're in a fairly safe place to survive any crypto winter, NFT crash, Gary V crash, whatever you want to call it. But, that's pretty much it. You know, so that's my first year into Veve. Also, it was kind of my first year into crypto, and here I am standing in profits at the bottom of a bear market. So I'm feeling good. You may not be, but what I can tell you is, even if you aren't feeling the greatest, it's best to hold on to what you got. Hold on to what you got. Yeah. So hold on and collect. Keep collecting. Keep accumulating. Diversify your portfolio. Don't just go all NFTs. Don't just go all crypto. Don't go all just stocks. Don't go buy a bunch of gold and sit on it. Diversify your portfolio. Find assets that fit for you. Allocate safer assets on a higher quantity, less safe assets, higher riskier assets on a lower quantity, a lower percentage of your portfolio. Yeah, and that's it. You know, I want to thank y'all for joining me. Again, nothing I say is financial advice. My name's Crypto Corey, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good day, Veve fan.